You're listening to the world-famous White Roof Radio, Woofcast number 606, recorded on September 29th, 2016. Tonight brought to you by CravenSpeed.com, MotoringStripes.com, and OutMotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and style. It's OutMotoring.com.
And happy National Podcast Day tomorrow.
And happy National Coffee Day today.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to have, it's like Cafenium Spazinate. It's a coffee made by the descendants.
Okay, it's going to be an interesting show. You ready?
Yes.
Let's do it, everybody. It's Stevie in Arizona, bringing you a brand new episode of the world-famous White Roof Radio. We haven't been here for a while. White Roof Radio headquarters in Arizona had to relocate, so we were off schedule a bit. We expect to be back on track here now. With us this evening, as always, my good friend Todd Pearson, MotoringStripes.com. Todd, say hi.
I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm wiping the drool off my face because I'm watching the video intro of the new Civic Type R at the Paris Auto Show.
Very nice. Also joining us this evening, it's going to be an odd show tonight, guys, let me tell you. The good Reverend, of course, is here. Mr. Chad Miller, Detroit Tune, DetroitTune.com. And also, how about a quick congratulations to Mr. Chad for actually purchasing a new shop for Detroit Tune. Very cool, very cool.
Yeah, it'll get there eventually. But we are now with 5 weddings under our belt.
Oh, nice.
You'll only see 4 on the site, but there's 5 now. It's coming soon.
Excellent. And, of course, Alex is joining us as well. Alex?
Hey, Alex, talking to you through the cyber, as people say now.
Be careful, Alex. Be careful, because I hear cyber is very, very tough.
Yeah, cyber stuff. Cyber stuff, let me tell you.
Actually, I think it's the cyber.
Plugged in through your watch.
The cyber.
You gain a whole bunch of weight, and all of a sudden you're 400 pounds sitting on your bed, are you? No?
Oh my God, that debate was so funny. This beat about the cyber, like, I don't know if you read it. I think like The Verge made like just a transcript of it. Is like pure gold. It's amazing.
It's like a freaking speak and spell, just vomited words is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry.
It was just amazing.
We try not to get political on here, but seriously, this is just too golden. Too golden.
Hard. Anyway, we're not here talking about the politics. We're not here talking about things. We're talking about Mini Cooper stuff for you on a whatever night this is, like we like to do. I would like to direct your attention at this particular moment in time to your podcast player application or iTunes window or whiteroofradio.com show notes, and I'd like you to visit and check out this week's featured image by our man Steve Kerrigan. Got a picture here is 2014 Cooper S Roadster with JCW exterior and interior stuff, which is named Red Raven, and is a 2015 Countryman S named Clifford. Thanks for sending that in, Steve. If you guys want your picture featured on an episode of White Roof Radio, super simple. All you do, upload it to Facebook or do an @reply to us on Instagram or Twitter. We'll make that happen. It's not a contest. I'm just going to find one and go, oh, that's pretty rad. I'll use that one.
And you know what I could start doing? I could make that the album art for the show.
Oh, I do it automatically. That happens on the host. So if you open up an episode of White Roof Radio, like in Overcast, you'll see that the show art for the last show, which was 605, was Gary's Roadster. Okay, cool. Anyway, Steve, congratulations. And again, if you want your mini or minis featured on short for White Roof Radio, upload the image. Make it a high-res image for me, too, guys. Don't upload something you took with like a BlackBerry tour back in 2002. Give me something high-res. Upload it to Facebook, or like I said, do an @reply to us on Twitter @White Roof Radio or on Instagram @White Roof Radio, and it'll just make it happen. It'll be really, really cool. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to talk about Mini Cooper stuff tonight. We're going to have Alex tell us about his experience driving a GP2 versus his F56 JCW. Right, Alex?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We are going to talk about the latest Mini that is now available, which, of course, would be the JCW Clubman.
It's going to be available. It was announced. It's going to be available in a couple months.
And we've got some tips and stuff to talk about because the weather's changing, so we're going to talk a little about tires as well. We're going to get to all that here in just a minute, gang. Before we do, let's remind you guys about one of the fine sponsors here underneath the White Roof, and that, of course, our friends over at OutMotoring.com. We love these guys. I want you to go check them out, too, because Aaron just spent a bunch of time. They redid the website. It's kind of the same, but it's new. It's really clean. It's really nice. You can see testimonials on the side, all the stuff. Very, very awesome things. And then when you're there checking out the new site, I want you to remember to go ahead and sign up for the email newsletter, because when you do that, you get the emails from OutMotoring.com that tell you that, oh, hey, by the way, here's your 5% discount code that you can use anytime you place an order at OutMotoring.com. Super awesome. Don't forget, too, almost every time you place an order that's over $195, shipping's covered. Aaron just goes, oh, I'll ship that for you. Done and done. Right? Super nice. We love these guys. And also, we love Aaron because he's been sponsoring White Roof Radio practically since the beginning. I'd have to go back, but I want to say since like show 50 or something. It's been forever. And he's an OG sponsor over at motoringfile.com. I mean, and I think he still sponsors North American Motoring. And I think he sponsors what's the other message board? Nathan's? Help me out, Motoring Lines?
Motoring Lines.
Mm-hmm. He's a sponsor of all the things, man. He's doing what he can to keep the community up and running, keep it vibrant, keep you guys covered with really cool stuff and good parts for your car. 30,000 new items added to his shop every month as well. And not just like the Go Fast bits or the cool interior pieces, but like all the DIY pieces, all the little fiddly clips for the body panels and anything that you need for your Mini. You're looking through the Hayes manual, try to figure out how to do a repair, and you need a specific part and you don't want to have to go to the parts desk, you'd rather do something, to help the community, go over to Out Motoring. Aaron's going to have that part for you. If you pull up the part number at real-oem.com, he will have it. If he doesn't have it, he will get it for you. Toot sweet. That, of course, our friend over at Out Motoring. OutMotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and I've closed the tab. That's OutMotoring.com.
But you need one.
Oh, yeah. Whatever it is I just saw, you need it. You don't have it, and you have to have it. I'm just saying. Go over there and just buy it, please. Here, side marker lights. If you got a first-gen car, you need those anyway. Just go get them. They're cheap.
Somebody's knocked them off in a parking lot.
A car wash. Or you've got a first-gen car.
No, we don't use car washes.
Right. Okay.
I just snorted.
They're old. Go fix it. Maestro, if you please.
Boom.
The big news, and the news really that anybody cares about, would be that coming very, very soon to a Mini dealership near you, would be the 2017 Mini JCW Clubman. JCW Clubman.
Which is it's really funny and I guess ironic, although it's not so much as it used to be, because we got to say that the Clubman seems to be selling really well. Although this just to backtrack a little bit, last month, one of the last time we talked about sales, we talked about how well the Clubman was doing, and we got a couple of responses from people. Our buddy John in Philly was one of them, and then a couple other people told us the same thing. Was at the end of, I guess it was at the end of August, Mini had a push for like friends and family, dealership leases, a really, smoking deal on a lease for a Clubman. In the month of August, and it had to be out of like dealership stock and yada yada yada, all these things. But that was a push to do it, and I will respond to that now saying that can't be responsible for all of the sales, because out of 100 dealers, I mean, that might be I'm being generous, 300 or 400 cars out of 1,500, and to me that's not enough to spike and go, oh well, those are wildly off. I don't think it's 20%, if that, and like I said, I think that's being generous. Alex, did you remember reading that, and what are you guys' thoughts on? Do you think that would spike it enough to make it? I still think it's going to be a big difference over the hardtop, even without that, even if you take and delete those deals.
Oh yeah, I think so. Just because it's doing so well now because everybody, like we've already mentioned, we want a smaller car, but you really don't. You want the bigger cars, and that's what people are buying. Yeah,
I think that's definitely part of that. It was still selling well. And so anyway, my whole point is that it's a little ironic that everybody's making such a big deal over the JCW Clubman, because it's going to be one of the most expensive Minis ever. DB, did you just build one online?
Base price $35,100. By the time you add paint, you're looking at $36,450. I haven't gone any further, but I'm guessing this is going to round out to be about between $43,000 and $45,000, depending on your configuration.
I did one night. Well, there's a lot that's standard on this car now. That's really good.
Midnight black on this car looks hot.
Yep, it is. It is a good look. In fact,
I'm going through the configurator now, since we're talking about it, and the only metallic paints you get are gray, silver gray, or black.
Yeah, well,
and I'm not kidding.
Thunder gray is
you get moonwalk gray, white silver, metallic, midnight black, melting silver, or thunder gray. There is no colored metallic paint for the JCW Clubman.
Yeah, it's very limited.
Yeah.
And if you want a color, you get chili red, you get rebel green, which is still $1,000 option on this car, which is crazy. Lapis luxury blue, also $1,000 option on this car.
So I would say something, in like I mean, most people that listen to the show know that we're big fans of Rebel Green. After living with it for 4 months now, I would probably not order it if I had to do it all over again.
What would you?
The reason being is that the paint is very fragile. Like it's insane. Like I've never had like a paint like this. And I don't know if it's because Mini is being cheap or whatever, but I mean, like the smallest scratch, it's like there is no. I mean, I don't know how many coats there are on this, but you get right to. I have a scratch on my bumper. You get actually right to the bumper, and usually there is like an undercoat or something, but it's like and again, I don't think someone slammed into my car, but it's a scratch and it's very visible, and so I think like I don't know what is the process behind the paint. I don't know if it's very expensive to do, or if they are just doing this because they are, they want to price it out to make it very exclusive or something like that. But it's not. I don't think it's a very good paint. I mean, I know it's my experience.
And I will say, working on the cars, touching the paint of hundreds of cars a month. And I will say this, especially the darker colors are very, very, very easy to scratch. And I always comment to the guys that you just look at black paint on a Mini and you scratch it. Like literally, if you touch it with your fingerprint, you can leave a scratch in the surface. Now, those go away. They're not permanent. And this is what I'll tell you, Alex, is it's not permanent. If you get yourself some mild polishing compound and you use that a couple of times, you can take most of those scratches out or reduce them 90%, I would think. Unless the color has changed enough to where you see primer or metal underneath it, then you're kind of screwed. You need to use some touch-up paint. But
but how many times do you have to do that, though? I mean, it's
you got to do it pretty regularly. I mean, these things scratch up pretty good. And here's the one thing: if you get a good polish, like you can take it to a detail shop, and they'll buff the whole car out and everything, and put a good coat of wax on it. And in fact, I'm a big proponent now. If you want to keep your car nice and you have a dark color like this, Alex, I would recommend one of the ceramic coatings. Now, that's going to cost you a few $100 to maybe $1,000 to do a ceramic coating on the car, which is going to keep it from doing that for a long time. But it's very expensive. But it's not just Minis that are susceptible to this. Most new car paints are so soft that just running your hand across it is enough to leave scratches. You don't notice it in lighter colors. And that's the thing, too, is lighter colors look cleaner, and you don't notice the scratches and the imperfections like you do. And DB, I'm sure you notice every little bitty scratch on your green car. I notice them somewhat on the chili red, but the chili red reflects light in a way to where you don't see them. But I also have a black Roadster that literally this thing, I'll polish it, and then a couple of days later, it's like, holy crap, where did all those scratches come from? There's not a whole lot you can do with a dark color car.
Yeah, you also are going to notice it more when it's brand new, when it's completely. Then after you wash it 2 or 3 times, then everything kind of starts to get very uniformed.
Yeah.
So you're going to notice it right away when it's brand new.
Yeah. So anyway,
so I just finished building my JCW Clubman all 4. It's another thing about this car; it's only available in all 4.
That's correct. So
you get the extra weight, and I'm right at $40,000, $40,100 with the standard transmission. Bump that up to 1750, so it'd be roughly 40. It'd be 42 grand with the automatic.
I actually think, DB, that's pretty darn close to what I ended up with this.
And this is not a low spec car. I mean, I just started clicking, and I've got, I put in the, I did black with a red roof just because, LED lamps because that comes on it. Standard. I changed the interior to the burgundy interior because there's no red, so I thought that'd be nice instead of being all black.
Tech package.
And I added the tech package.
Mm-hmm. So with all that, you get like backup camera. Backup camera standard on that now. So is what I want to say, Comfort Access comes with that.
It also includes wireless device charging.
Yep, which is pretty interesting. And the big news with the tech package is Apple CarPlay with the touchscreen.
Nice.
It is not written out specifically in the specifications. However, all of the photographs, the press photographs, show the touchscreen display, which is basically the same thing that's been in the 7 Series. It's coming down the X lines of BMWs, and it's filtering very quickly into the lower lines of BMWs also.
So it's probably CarPlay. It's just that the UI doesn't look like CarPlay. No. It's not Apple's UI. It's like mini UI. I mean, it's mini connected not mini connected. Mini connected / iDrive UI, right?
Yeah. It really is, and it's basically showing the input of let's say you're doing navigation and you're putting in an address. And the only way.
Yeah. So if you use mini connected, you still have like the touch interface, but I'm guessing like Apple CarPlay will be like an option available on the main screen.
Right.
Sort of like a dual boot type of a thing. It's like, oh, what do you want? Do you want to use the mini system or do you use the Apple system?
Exactly. Yeah, right. That's what it is. So it's sit as an option. Like if you on the Golf, like it's like you see like the main screen, and so you have like one icon like for every feature of their infotainment system, and then you have one more icon for Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yep. Very cool.
So that's big
nice,
news on that.
Finally.
And the question is how many of these are they really going to sell? Because
JCW Clubmans?
Well, yeah, because
$40,000. I think it's all quite a few.
JCWs in general are fairly limited, and they don't sell a whole lot of these, and they still don't break them out in sales numbers. And I think that's because they sell so few of them.
Right.
But like I said,
all-wheel drive, 228 horsepower, 258 foot-pounds of torque. 0 to 60 in 6 seconds flat, 147 mile per hour top speed with a weight of 3,450 pounds. I don't know.
It's pretty amazing specifications, and basically this car's way more loaded than even my hardtop is for about the same price. Yet then I realized I'm like, oh, I got $5,000 worth of other options between the JCW Pro exhaust and the suspension
and body kit,
and those two combined. No. Well, this comes with basically the same JCW, the aero kit for that. But those two options alone on my car, and then throw in the carbon fiber bonnet scoop, I have $5,000 worth of options, So basically, it seems like a pretty good deal on this car.
I think so.
A pretty good value for what it is. I don't think
it's a JCW car. I mean, and like I said, I just built one, and it's not stripped. $40,000.
Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. Cool. And I mean, Alex looks at it too and goes, "That's how much his hardtop was, just about." It seems, comparatively speaking, like a good deal, I think.
Right, especially because you're getting the Clubman and you're getting all 4.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good deal. And that's the other thing that happened while we were out is Mini announced that you'll be able to get the Clubman in all 4, with all 4 equipment on the Cooper S and JCW models only.
And did we?
It's funny the value that we give to technology like interior tech, right? Mm-hmm. Because all of a sudden you're like, well, this is way more stuff for the same price, and it's really not that much. I mean,
it's not.
Wireless charging, meh, okay. But like CarPlay, yes, that's like for me that's a big thing. But it's funny. It's like those little things that make the car, to your eyes, like so much more valuable. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of torn one way or another when I look at it, and I go, that's still a lot of accessories. And then I realized when I thought about the fact that I've got two options on my car are like $5,000, I finally realized I have more options on my car than I think DB's entire car cost. I think I have 11,000.
Or at least what I paid for it.
Yeah, I have probably over $11,000 worth of options on my car.
Wow, that's roughly what I paid for my used 2008 R56.
I know
but that's just like a fun weekend in Vegas for Todd. So.
Oh my God!
No, it's ridiculous. It's a lot of money for options. But you know what? Just look at any car on the market today. And you're like, yeah, all the advertised prices that you see everywhere on advertising is fine, but you can pretty much add $6,000 to $10,000 to just about anything, and realize that's how much more the car is actually going to cost you once you put things on it that you want.
Yeah, that's true. You got a point there.
I just think that's the way it is. That's just the way of the world right now. So, anyway.
Yeah, people always ask me when they're trying to build cars out, and I was like, buy it exactly the way you would want it, because for you to try and do it later, it's either not going to be possible or it's going to cost you way more money later. And now you can wrap it up in your payments. Stop looking at that bottom line. Just order it the way you want it. Be happy with it. Enjoy it.
And I'll tell you that is 100% gospel that Chad speaks, because I bought my car, did not order it. It was already done, and got a good deal on it. And I kick myself every day I get into the car that it doesn't have comfort access. I hate that with a passion, that I have to reach into my pocket and press a button to open my doors, and I have to.
So maybe
maybe
I can diminish your disappointment.
Okay.
The very annoying thing, and I know it can be fixed with coding. The very annoying thing is that when you get out of the car, you have to, and if you just open the door, right, and then you close the door, you have to press the button multiple times before it closes the car.
They already fixed that, Alex. Yours is the last car that did that. Yes.
Wow,
so
that's great.
So
they get it fixed then.
Yeah, they already fixed that, and the new cars don't do that anymore. They've actually been reprogrammed to where you get out and you press the button once and the car locks. So yes, that is a complaint. And 2016 was the last year that comfort access was like that. Now it works like you think it would work. However, let me tell you guys this. I found a glitch in the Mini this past week, and I'll explain this scenario, and you guys tell me if you think it's odd. So I come home, and I have a lawn tractor that I mow my lawn with, and one of the tires was low. It gets cold, and so the tire started going flat. And I have a 12-volt compressor that's really easy, and so I thought, okay, I'll just put this in the Mini, plug the air compressor in, air up this tiny little tire. It'll take a couple of minutes, right? So I open the passenger door of my Mini. I plug it in. I turn on the accessories to get a little power to the adapter there. I air up the tire to the tractor. Great, everything's good. I reach in, I unplug it. I turn off the car, and I close the door, and I go inside. I come out 4 hours later, and my headlights are on. The headlights are on, and the dash lights in the car are on. They're still on. And I found a glitch, and then I verified that this is a glitch not only with Minis, but also with BMWs, and it's been this way for years, and they've never fixed it. And that is if you get in the passenger side, and Alex, you can try this on your car sometime. Just unlock your car and open the passenger door, and turn on the accessories to do something, turn them off, close the passenger door, and walk away. You can come back hours later, and your headlights and dash lights will still be on.
That's annoying.
Yep. Even if the car is locked and the key is nowhere near it, the headlights are going to stay on. And it's a glitch in the software. And the only thing you can do, what turns it off, is if the sensor is in the driver's door. The driver's door has to be opened and closed. As soon as I reached to my driver's door and opened it, the headlights go off instantly. Now, they will go off before it runs the battery down. When the battery reaches a certain voltage, it drains it enough. And it's going to take a while because all the new lighting in these cars are LED, so they draw, lower amps out of the battery than they used to. So your battery's not going to run down, probably not even if they're on all day. But I said this is not an inconceivable scenario that, say, I'm getting ready to go out of town, okay? And the car service is coming to take me to the airport, and I realize, hey, I forgot my sunglasses in my car. I open the passenger door. I get in. I got to do something to my car. I do this. I shut the door. I leave town for a week, and I come back, and my battery's dead because the headlights have been on this whole time. That is a conceivable scenario, is it not?
It is.
Yeah.
Right? I think it is ridiculous that this is still a problem, and BMWs do the same thing. And if you have an F56, I don't know if it does it on the R cars. I haven't tried it on the Roadster yet. But I know for sure that this is a replicable scenario in the F generation cars. It's ridiculous. It's so dumb. So, anyway,
okay.
I discovered that technical glitch. Speaking of technical glitches and CarPlay, let's move on to those of us who've upgraded our Apple devices to the latest operating system. iOS 10.
Which I have.
And attempted to use it with our cars, with our Minis.
Which I have not, because I don't have.
Which I have.
Alex was the first one to complain.
I have the connected stuff.
Alex was the first one to complain. And Alex, you thought it was an iPhone 7 problem, right?
Yeah, I thought it was an iPhone 7 problem, and then obviously I thought about it a couple hours later, and obviously it was an iOS 10 thing, and so I experienced the same thing as what you described, Todd, on the Slack channel. Basically, start the car, and so at the beginning I didn't think it was like an iOS 10 glitch because I had difficulties accessing iTunes, Apple Music, right? So I thought maybe it was a connection error on one specific song. So sometimes it happens because Apple Music, as you all know, is not the greatest thing. But then as I was, I was shopping around, doing stuff, running errands, get in and get out of the car. It works for the first 5 minutes, and then it shuts off.
Right.
Bluetooth streaming shuts off, and then you have to connect it with the USB cable for it to work. And again, it doesn't always work. Sometimes you have to do it several times, which is really annoying. And I think Apple, I think there was actually, I'm pretty sure, in fact, that there was an update release. I think it's 10.0.2 was released with fixes for Bluetooth. The reason I haven't installed it is because there's also they've opened a gap, a security hole, with this update in regards to iCloud Drive password or something. I mean, something related to that.
It's your backup.
So I haven't updated it, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's a real fix or if it's still outstanding. So I would have to check it out. I'm waiting on 10.0.3 to make the update.
Yeah. So anyway, if you've got an iPhone, if you updated the latest operating system, basically the point is you're going to have you may or may not have problems with audio streaming. And then I've also got problems with plugging the phone in to a USB cable. And I used to do that all the time because I've got a lovely dock in my car, the Kuda USA, Kuda USA.com dock, where my phone plugs in, it locks into place, and it's charged, and it's also wired to the car, right? And so usually it would start playing the music, it would remember where I was, even 2-3 days later, everything's great. As soon as I updated the new iOS, nothing. I had to go in and force it to play, and even then I had to go to the phone and start the music from there. The car wouldn't even recognize that it was connected to, any sort of music player. So this was inconvenient at best. And then you couldn't change tracks from the car. The car didn't recognize it was connected, even though the phone shows up in the dash that, hey, you're connected to Todd's iPhone. It wouldn't do anything. It not like it used to just automatically recognize. It would go to your playlists. It was gorgeous. And so this is a glitch. We're waiting for an update for this. So if you're having problems, welcome to the club. Maybe don't update to iOS 10 if you haven't yet and you use your phone and your Mini for connectivity. Now, that being said, I didn't have any problems with the phone itself. I made and received phone calls with no issues. The car,
I've been hearing people have trouble with the alarm function.
Yeah, I have not had any issues. Although it's the sleep
no
function.
trouble with my phone.
It's here's the problem with the alarms is if you set on iOS, and we'll probably cut this out of the show. If you go and say, here, I want to sleep these hours and wake me up at this time, that's what's not working for people.
That actually didn't work for me for a little bit until I figured out you actually have to turn it on.
Oh, okay.
And to make sure that you've got it set under options for the right days of the week.
Because it's supposed to.
I'm going, why didn't the thing work? I'm looking at it. It's like, I have it set to go off on Saturday and Sunday, not on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, it's supposed to tell you when to go to bed and when to get up. And
yeah, it plays like the first chorus of Rockabye Baby or something.
Yeah. So.
And it's that's your reminder to go to bed, and then it gently plays your alarm starting at the time you specify.
So anyway, we're all hoping that when Apple CarPlay becomes becomes a standard feature, and this looks like that they're probably going to roll it out into the LCI, the Life Cycle Impulse, which is coming end of next year in the rest of the Mini line. So here's hoping it's going to roll a little faster. And this is something Gabe talked about 6 months ago. He goes, it's going to be in the LCI, don't worry. It's going to be fast. They're going to change it. And Alex and I both balked at that because we're like, it means all new hardware. Well, it's evident that they're done with that. Because
maybe they'll be able to retro it into your guys' cars.
The hardware that's in the Clubman is the exact same hardware that there's in the hardtop.
Oh. Well, then there you go.
So it's the same size. It's no different in size or anything.
Maybe it's got different internals, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
I do.
I was just reminded of something else I wanted to bring up right there at that particular moment in time. I forgot what it was. Crap.
Hey, NBC is making a TV show of the Italian Job.
No, that's
big news. It's gonna be.
That's not that important.
You know what is funny? During the whole comfort access section, I was going to bring up that we get calls all the time for people. It's like, the back doors, they just won't lock. I was like, well, what kind of credit you got? And it's a Clubman or a boot handle or whatever. And they're like, I'm like, do you have comfort access? And they're like, yeah.
All you have to do is be close to it and it unlocks.
I'm like, just take the keys out of the pocket once the car's locked and then see if you can't open it. Because they're like, it just won't lock. It'll never lock. I was like, well, you touched it.
That's the deceiving thing about the Clubman is that the boot, and it's the same way with the boot latch on if you have comfort access on either a hardtop or a coupe or a roadster. All you have to do is be close to the boot and open it. You don't have to press a button like you do on the rest of the car.
Yep. And it just opens.
What's interesting is it doesn't unlock the rest of the car. It just unlocks those.
The boot.
And if you close it, it locks back up. It's locked again. But those people who are complaining, Chad, they don't know that. They think their car is unlocked when it's really not. It's the fact that they've got the key in their pocket. And
it's just that little bit of it. And I've gotten 3 of those calls this year.
I blame the salespeople for that. But
I 100% do too.
I don't necessarily blame them 100% because a lot of these people are buying their cars second and third hand. And they never got the full delivery, and even then, the people don't understand. Like, they don't go through every single thing like that for comfort access. So
we had a lady that was going to bring her car from all the way from New York to have us look at it to get a second opinion, and she's going through every 1,400 miles now, 1,400 miles, 4.5 quarts or more of oil. Yes.
What? My God.
Is there no plug in it? There's no oil plug in the bottom? No drain plug?
No. She's just burning it like a mofo right now.
That is not within spec. We're just going to say, I know it's crazy, but that is way out of spec.
Yeah, well, it's out of warranty, so too bad, right?
Where's the oil going is the question.
It's there have been multiple times she's taken the deal. She's had 2 timing chains already put in the car because of major clatter, quote unquote. And, every time they come in, it's like, well, you don't have any oil in the car. And they put 5 full quarts of oil in the car, and it fills it up.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, she's not the only person that I've seen this happen to.
What year is her car? Do you remember?
Oh, God. It's a 2012.
Okay. So, and this goes along with, I said this a few weeks ago, and we'll just do an update because I verified this now, is that 2012 and newer Minis have changed the weight of oil that's recommended in it. It used to be 5W30, and it's been 5W30 since the beginning, since 2002. And now there's a memo that all cars since 2012 in the R engine, I would say what was the engine in that, the latest engine, the N18, N14, N18?
N18 on the S,
okay.
Yes.
So that would be, they're changing that to a zero weight oil, a 0W30. Okay, and that includes the Countryman. So that is all Minis from 2012 to, whatever. With the exception, and that includes the F56, with the exception of the JCW, which is a 0 weight 20, a 0W20 motor oil for the JCW. This is new and different, and Mini also changed the recommended brand of oil. It used to say Castrol is recommended. Now they've moved to Pennzoil. Okay, and it's just
it's whoever pays them more money.
Right, they make those agreements, on a corporate level, but they've moved to Pennzoil as the recommended lubricant, if you will. It's not really oil; it's all synthetic, and they've changed the weight.
You said lube.
So anyway, I want people to look and think about this. It's not going to you're not going to kill your car if you put 5W30 in it again, and
nope.
The difference here is that the zero weight oil is more beneficial to people like Chad and I who live in places that gets really freaking cold. Okay?
Right.
Because the viscosity at really cold temperatures, it stays thin, the oil. The zero weight oil is going to stay. This is as basic as that I can explain this. It's going to perform
more watery.
It's going to perform better at cold temperatures because at the higher number, the 30 number, means that's the viscosity at 100 degrees Celsius, which is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. It's all the same at that hot temperature, so you're okay there. It's just the lower end. But latest research says people like DB in Arizona who don't have such fluctuations will benefit from a zero-weight oil also.
Right.
So, I want to meet the engineer that's like, you know what? We are having major engine failures because they don't have oil pressure right at startup.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, is
because it's like, no, that lady doesn't have any oil in her engine. That's kind of the problem.
Well, that's part of it, too, but at start...
Where did it go?
At cold start, basically, like Chad said, at cold start is when it's very important that the viscosity of the oil runs and flows. And I think the zero-weight oil... So, barring even whatever temperature, because even in Arizona, when it's 100 degrees and the car is cold, the oil is cold. Okay? It is not up to temperature, so it's still a cold start. And the zero weight is going to help there because it's thinner and it's going to flow better through the engine and going to, hopefully make it last longer. Like Chad said, some engineer somewhere figured, you know what? I think maybe we should switch to zero weight oil because this will help the longevity of these engines. We won't have to replace so many engines. And my curiosity is, why did they choose to do it just on 2012 and higher? Is it potentially because those are the engines that could still be under warranty and extended warranty, and anything before that, totally gone? Even extended warranties are out of, like a 2011. Even with the 6-year warranty, they're going to be out of warranty.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my wild tinfoil hat speculation on that. But... needless to say, your weight of oil has changed, and if you have a 2012 or newer car, there's a memo or a bulletin. If you take your car in, they're going to change the sticker on it, and you're not even going to know it. So lift up your bonnet, and there'll be a picture.
I wonder if some of these, because obviously I see what cars come in to my shop all the time, and I can say, we service a lot of R53s, we service R56s, we don't see a lot of R60s, even though they're out there. We service this and that. I wonder if the dealer also sees that trend where they're like, okay, well, we haven't serviced any cars past 2009, 10 in bulk. Yeah, we get a few 7s and 6s and a few other these and that's, but they see the years of the cars that are being serviced all the time, and they base their recommendation on these bulletins based on a year break where they just say, hey, let's do this, versus A being warranty, B being a new model engine, which would have actually started in 2011, or what they just see all the time and based on service, and they're like, okay, well, we're seeing a lot of 12s, a few 11s, and everything up past 12. Let's do it from 12 on. I don't know.
We're just speculating here.
Interesting to see what they actually would base it on. Because a power steering pump and a 2005 and a 2006 to me are exactly the same. They're the same part numbers, but from 2002 to 2005, they replaced all the power steering pumps in the Gen 1 cars, but not 2006 or 2007 and 8 convertibles.
They even extended the warranty on those, Chad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, not on those other particular cars, but there's a federal recall on everybody else. So.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there it is. A lot of oil viscosity talk and lube.
Yep.
There we go. Let's take a minute really quick. I want to remind you guys about one more sponsor here underneath the white roof before we let Alex talk about his experience between the GP2 and his JCW. And, of course, our friends over at Cravenspeed, cravenspeed.com. Also, with the newly redesigned website, and also with the newly built page with all their smiling, gleaming faces there. You can go over there and check it out. That's over at cravenspeed.com, and you'll see a thing that says, meet the team. Click on that. Very cool stuff. You get to meet everybody. And then when you're done, you go over and you order yourself a dipstick if you've got a first or second gen Mini. You want the platypus license plate mount because you don't want to drill holes in your bumper. Done. You want the stubby antenna. You want the flex pod adapter. You have an R53 and you want the pulley. Boom. Done and done. Just go over to cravenspeed.com. You can get all that taken care of. When you place an order at cravenspeed.com, what's really cool is you can leave a comment there on the order form. And I'd like you, if you could, it'd be really awesome if you could put, thanks for supporting White Roof Radio. We really appreciate when you guys do that. So do they. They, of course, being our friends over at Cravenspeed, cravenspeed.com. Go check them out, please.
And thank you.
Thank you. Alex.
Yeah.
You were hanging out with our friend Sean from the Motor Trend Audio podcast.
Yeah.
And you and him went on a little bit of a mini group drive of sorts, because Sean, as most of you probably remember, has a GP2, second generation JCW GP, and Alex has his F56. And I'm understanding, Alex, that you guys swapped cars.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. So Sean has a friend that is being really nice to him, because he lets him use part of his space to actually park his car, because parking in the city is like very almost impossible, and especially when Sean already has 2 other cars in his parking garage, so he needed another spot. And it's nice because it's outside of the city, so it's a little bit of a drive. It's actually a fun drive. So we got there, and I don't know for how long the GP2 has been sitting there, but it's make the noise of the exhaust note of a car that has been starting in a while, and it's really nice. So we waited there for a couple minutes to let the Mini warm up, and I followed them on a little trip, and then we switched cars, and so it was an opportunity for him to drive the JCW F56, which he never has done before, and for me to drive the GP2, which also I never had done before, surprisingly. The only GP that I've driven was Todd's before he sold it to buy the JCW. And so my impression, so the way I like to do it is like from obviously outside to inside and top to bottom. So obviously you guys know the size between the 2 cars is much different. The GP sits obviously lower than the JCW, because I think it's equipped with JCW coilovers as opposed to the F56, which Todd actually has the same suspension, I think. What else? There's the real spoiler on the GP2. You don't have this; it's an option on the JCW. The exhaust sounds much better than on my car, and the color is hold ups really well. It's a bit unfortunate that they made it non-exclusive, because it got released for the F56. But no, it's a really nice color, holds up very well. And the wheels are great also. I like the fact that they are kind of nondescript, because they are actually matte wheels. It's not they don't have the shine of the JCW wheels, of the F56 JCW wheels. So I like the wheels on the GP2. From the inside, I gotta say, the seats are really nice. But all around, the F56 is a better car on the inside. There is I don't think there is any comparison with possible on this front. What I like though is that it's quiet. Even though it's not as luxurious as an M56, it's quieter. Probably because Sean doesn't have the sunroof. So that's the comparison between the interior and the exterior. As far as the driving goes, it is a car. Well, first of all, it is much better because it has proper tires, so that's a huge difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's regular tires. It's kind of I think it's more advanced sports tire than regular sports tire, but it's actual. It's a standard tires as opposed to round flats, right? The steering wheel is very direct, and it's great because it's very direct, and it also feels better. And it's kind of the same feel. It feels better, and how do I say this? Heavier, which is nice because it feels like you're actually driving the car. Even when you put the F56 on the sports mode, it's still not as heavy as the GP2. So that's how it felt. And again, when you turn the wheel left and right, it's way more direct than the JCW, which is great. On acceleration, let me try to remember this. On acceleration, I think it's very similar. It's very similar, but I prefer the engine sound of the JCW because I think it sounds great, even though there's a little bit of fakery going on there. It still sounds better, I think. And you can see also that I think there's a difference in power delivery between the two. I forgot exactly what it was. It's been a month almost since I tested it, but it sounded to me like you have to work the GP2 a bit more than the JCW. Granted, the two cars are a generation apart, so I think it's kind of expected.
And the red line. The red line is 1,000 RPMs apart between those two. The GP2 red line's at like 7,000 RPMs, and our new JCW's red line at 6,000 RPMs.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The gearing it feels different for that, and it like you said, it probably feels like you're getting more out of it or having to work it a little bit harder, the GP2, than you do the new JCW. But that's just a perspective thing because of the length of those gears.
Mm-hmm. And I think the last thing is the gearbox. So I have an automatic on my JCW. Sean, obviously, they only did it like with manual, the GP2. The gearbox is so much better than the manual gearbox on the F56. I mean, there is no. I think it went from best to worst, like over generation, right? It was great on the R53. It was still great on the.
Which ironically, it's the exact same gearbox, Alex.
Yeah, I know, but like on the F56, it's so much lighter, and the engagement point is so much higher. And I don't like it, and I don't like it. It's too light, and also it seems a little bit. It seems like the gear ratios are a bit longer on the F56 than they are on the GP2.
Yeah, it does. I agree because like I'm driving those two gearboxes back to back between my Roadster and the JCW, so I get what you're saying, and I kind of agree with it.
Yeah, and so overall, it's an amazing car. It's a great car. Is it a car that I would drive every day? I don't know. Like it's always like the comparison with the Cayman GT4. Like is it an everyday car? Like I'm not sure. Like it's a lot of a car, and it's a little bit wasted driving it every day as opposed to like the car that I'm currently driving now. That's my first like takeaway. And the second takeaway is how much. They can't do much they're not going to do much to the GP3 if they come up with a GP3, except for making the exhaust that Todd. Basically Todd's car is the GP3. Like I don't know what else they're going to do to it, honestly. Maybe aside from putting better tires and maybe smaller wheels, I really don't know what they're going to do to it because it's like if you look at the GP2, it's pretty much the same cars. Todd's and the GP2, right? Yeah. So I really don't know what they're going to do with it.
They'd have to boost suspension of some sort, or a special body kit.
Todd already has the JCW suspension, so that's the thing. That's like he has pretty much like everything you find in the GP2. Todd has it.
Those pro coilovers. Now my coilovers don't have the. Basically, in the other car, they mounted the struts upside down. For rebound and for play, so it's going to feel a little bit different. But you drove both my car and the GP2, and they do feel remarkably the same as far as the suspension setup goes. Now, the one thing I would say you didn't talk about, Alex, tell me what you thought of the brakes in the GP2 compared to your car.
Oh, they're better. They're better than my car.
I would agree with that too.
Well, let me tell you how. In what way they're better? I think the stopping power. I feel like the stopping power is the same, but like the direction, right? Like the steering wheel, they feel like way more direct than on my car. And also, I think it's not a fair comparison because I've been complaining about my brakes like forever,
right?
Since I got the car. So that's one thing. Like to be great, my brakes have to be warmed up. And on the GP2, like they don't necessarily need to be. Like they're way more direct.
Well, the GP2 brakes they're larger, and there's one more piston in those brakes than there is in actually two, one on each side. They're 6-pot brakes as opposed to ours, which are 4-pot, Alex. And they're larger. There's more surface area on the GP2 brakes than there is. Slightly more. It's not a lot, but there is slightly more. So as far as braking power goes, and everybody I've talked to, I have 2 or 3 friends here locally who have GP2s now, and they say the brakes are overkill in that car. Like, literally overkill. They will, if you step on them too hard, it puts you through the windshield. It's too much stopping power. And
everybody I know here in Arizona who's got a GP2, they would not say that because those guys out here are actually taking theirs to the track.
Well, no, I think it's exactly the thing, DB, is it's perfect for the track because you want that stopping power because you want to slow the car down going into a corner. You want to be able to go as deep as possible before you use those brakes, and then when you step on them, you want them to work. And it's perfect. It is a track car. I think what they've done with the new ones on mine and Alex JCWs is they've toned them back a bit, and they work, and they're more of a feathered feel. Like you got to stand on them a little bit more to get that kind of braking out of it, but they still work.
Okay. Gotcha.
There's also one other thing, and it just popped into my mind when you mentioned entering into a corner and stuff. When I I haven't had a chance to drive your car to almost the limit, Todd. But when you take the JCW, the one that I have now, and so without the JCW coilovers and the GP2. On the ramp, on the ramp that is actually turning, a highway ramp, the car stays flat. The GP2 is flat, and that's really nice. It's really, really nice. You're going at full speed and it's flat. When there is noticeable roll, body roll with the F56. It's partly due to the tire. It's partly due to the suspensions. But the GP2 was flat, and I think that's the thing that I like the most about the car.
So, Alex, do you have the adaptive suspension or just the sport suspension?
No, it's sport suspension. Yeah, I didn't take the adaptive because it's a waste of money.
So it is a little higher. Yeah, and it's not as stiff as a sport suspension. But I would say that the Pro suspension, the JCW Pro, the coilovers that are on there, and Chad can speak to this. It's the difference between a sport suspension and coilovers is that you can take an on ramp at 80 miles an hour in the corner, and the car flattens out, and it grips the road. I mean, with good enough tires, that really makes a difference in that kind of a scenario. You can speed through the corners. You can increase your speed quite a bit because you don't feel that body roll and you're getting out of control on the inside. Okay? Now, Chad's favorite mod that he tells people to do a lot of times also, which will help in this, is a rear sway bar.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We love rear sway bars.
Yeah, that'll help.
Best thing ever.
Yep, that'll help quite a bit. And the combination of rear sway bars and a little bit lowered suspension is the intermediate step towards full-on coilovers, dropping it, and making this thing, dialing it in. I think those are your kind of 3 steps towards that. Am I close, Chad?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I always start everybody with the rear sway bar. I mean, that's the best suspension mod that you can do right there.
And then when it goes more, you go springs, right?
Yeah, springs or coilovers, dropping the car down a little bit. It kind of, I always talk to the customers and kind of feel out what they want because I don't always want to just put people in coilovers. And I actually was joking around with my girlfriend tonight because I was like, maybe we'll just put you in a coilover. She's like, you always say you don't need them. I was like, well, you don't. You don't. You really don't need all of the extra tuning. You don't need all of the extra suspension. You don't need all of that. A lot of times extra cost because there's corner balancing and there's a lot of things that you need to do to the car to make sure it's set up.
Not to mention
be safe.
It makes the ride rough as hell.
It can. Yeah. And that's where, a lot of times when people are like, I want to lower the car, I want to get rid of wheel gap, I want to do this, it's like, okay, just go with a set of springs. You'll be fine. But, always start with a sway bar. I mean, that's by far the best single suspension thing to do. And then get rid of the run flats. I mean, those things suck like nobody's business. So, but every customer is different in how they want their car to be.
Yeah.
So I always love talking to customers and say, okay, what do you want? What do you want out of the car? It's like, okay, then this is what will really make you happy versus you'll notice this, but you won't maybe notice it for all it is because you're so focused on the other thing. So,
right. So Alex, I want to hear now. You drove my GP1 last year when you were in town, and then you got to drive the GP2. Which one did you like better?
I like the GP1 better. Yeah, I mean, I think because when you again it doesn't take anything away from the GP2, right? It's a great car all around. It's probably like my second favorite Mini after the GP1. But when you get to that kind of car, you're basically expecting like rawness 24/7, right? Mm-hmm. And the GP1 has more rawness than the GP2. That's just what it is. Like it's the fact that it's a generation apart. That's how it was built versus the GP2, which is really like engineering. Like I think there hasn't been so much engineering going into a Mini. And also the engine sound is amazing. I mean, that's the whole difference between the supercharger and the turbocharger, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, for all of that, like the GP1, no comparison.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, Alex. Thanks for finally giving us your take on that, because I think it's an important thing for people to hear, especially the performance guys, a GP2 compared to the new JCW, and then like I say, throw in the GP1, which you got to drive mine last year before I got rid of it. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That
and
is
don't
awesome.
forget, Alex, we're still looking for a picture of your car.
Yes, I will get it cleaned up this week because it has been like 10 days on the parking airport, so it's full of dust. So I'll get it cleaned like this weekend and send you guys a picture.
That's awesome. Get yourself some polishing compound and get rid of those scratches too.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do that.
Go to AutoZone, man. They got it.
There you go.
They got it.
That's that McGuire's product that Todd likes so much.
Yes, yes.
Definitely.
Finishing off, it is we are getting closer to the end of the year, and it means that the temperatures are dropping, which means what? That means everybody's tire pressure monitor light is going off, and it sounds like, bing, I got flat tire. Oh, what do I do? What do I do?
And usually this time of the year, can I say, it's either one or it's all of them. And I can speak from the F56 generation. Mine, when they went off, all four went off, and the nice thing about the F car, if you've got the screen, which from now on everybody does, it'll tell you the exact tire pressure. And
yikes! What did I do? Sorry, that was me.
It'll tell you the exact tire pressure, and all my tires dropped exactly 6 psi per tire. So I knew it was okay. It was just the temperature. But so that's how you know. Like if all of your tire lights go off at once, don't freak out. Don't get scared. It's just that the temperature dropped enough to, drop the PSI on those. So
it is nice to hear that the new F cars actually tell you what the temp or the actual air pressure is in each tire.
They do.
Versus just having to guess, being like, okay, I got a flat. Which one is it? Or
and now
they really stepped it up to be like, okay, well, here's a little diagram of your car, and they give you an arrow to show it, but it doesn't really tell you
how much.
Is it a pound, or is it 2 pounds, or is it 10 pounds? Because you're traveling 60 miles an hour on a freeway, and all of a sudden that light goes off. It throws panic in your, you grip the steering wheel a little harder, going, oh, God, what am I going to do?
Oh, crap, I got a flat. Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually look at it and be like, oh, well, it's only 42 and everybody else is at 43 or whatever, example. And be like, okay, well, now it's down to 41, 40, 39. Okay, I have a problem. I need to find an exit right away, so that is kind of nice to hear that. That's actually come out to the new cars.
Yeah, and it's very accurate. I've taken, and I was curious one day, and I looked, and I had the car checked, all the tire pressures, and then I got out my my nice tire gauge. I've got a cheap one, I've got a nice one, and I checked it, and it was exact. Like, it told me the point to the 10th, Chad. It's not just a whole tire pressure. It tells you've got 42.3 PSI, and it is spot on. It is...
really, and that technology has been out for years because my parents' 2003 Corvette has it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of new cars. I'm just being informed that a lot of new cars are having this too. So, I mean, is it me being a little late to the game with this, or did they just finally say, oh, okay, now it's finally cheap enough that we can just throw it in because it's part of the car?
I have one word for you, Chad. Premium.
Yeah. It's the premium auto. Yeah, that's what I hear.
It's premium.
So really quick, let's remind everybody how to actually disable or not disable, how to reset that light. For those of you who don't know, if you've got an R50 and R53, which means you've got
obviously you go to the dealer, right? You just let them do it.
If you have a Mini Cooper that was built between 2002 and 2006 with a hardtop, and 2008 with the convertible, 9 with the convertible.
It was
8 was the end of the convertibles. Yeah,
that's right. 8 with the convertible. Then your tire reset light your reset light button is underneath the emergency brake in the dead center of the car, and you have a hard time pressing it because it's going to be caked with like soda, gunk, and fry salt.
Well, and
that's what the button is.
And in the DB, it changed in 05. They moved it. It's over to the side, but it's under your e-brake. It's right there. But don't just reset it. It's
going to be caked in fry salt and
it's fry salt.
Right.
Yes, it's always full of fry salt
and Diet Coke spilled and coffee and whatever else. But don't look for that until you actually pull the valve stem caps off and check your tire pressure, and then
yes, actually do check your tire pressure first.
But Chad, how do you reset it in the first generation cars? Once you've taken all it off and you've aired everything up to proper pressures, which rule of thumb for me, 17-inch tires, this is just ballpark 38 pounds is perfect.
Yeah, 36, 38 is usually going to be your good air pressures. There's always going to be a sticker on the inside of your driver's door panel. As soon as you open the door on the body side, there's always a sticker in there that tells you, hey, if you have this size tire, this is what we're going to recommend. So that's what you do. On the Gen 1 cars, you're going to go up to the little washer stock, and you're going to, flip the button through the little piece on some of them, or you're going to hold and press the run flat button on the other cars to actually until it stops flashing at you and go solid, and then you're going to drive for a mile, 2 miles. Sometimes it will never go off. You actually have to turn the car off, turn it back on. Every car is a little bit different, but most of the time you have to hold the button and wait to go solid. Then you keep driving, and then it goes, okay, yep, I know, I see this new pressure. Thanks, I relearned. We're good to go.
And the easiest way in all the generations, if you have the nav screen, because then you just go to the car setting, you go to car, and you can reset it from there, because there's just scroll through.
And all the Gen 2 cars, yeah.
It's so easy to do that, and it's the same on the F56. But the Gen 2 car, I had to do this just today in the Roadster, and it's not the most intuitive. You have to press and hold. You have to scroll through the stock on the
all the Gen 2 cars, you're scrolling through the stock, and you're
until you get to set info
for a particular setting to be like, okay, where's my information, and then you find the run flat symbol and you press and hold, and then it says resetting, and you press and hold again, and you kind of go through. So you're right, it's not very intuitive, and it really doesn't make sense. And we've had multiple customers that come and said, hey, I've done this multiple times, I won't do it, and I just do it, and I was like, I drive it, and nope, it worked. You just didn't hold the right amount of times or something, and it's all working now. Let us know if you have a problem. And
it takes a while of driving too. It's not going to go away instantly, and none of the cars it does. You have to drive for a little while. And in fact, the newest cars, the F56 generation from 2014 on, it takes even longer. Sometimes it takes 3-4 miles before this goes, and depending on how fast you're going, that could be quite a while. It could be 5-10 minutes of driving before they finally reset. The nice thing is the car will tell you the percentage. It starts counting up and tell you, I'm 30% there, I'm 60% there, and so you don't have to sit and wonder, did it really work, because it tells you. And the other nice thing is in the latest mini generation is I found this also to be true. If you air them up to the proper pressure, sometimes they will reset themselves automatically, because it'll know, oh, I'm back to the proper pressure, and it's gone away on its own for me without having to go through the manual reset of it. And
a little trick as far as like wondering whether or not a reset is usually the difference of the light's flashing at you versus the light is being solid. If the light is solid, it's usually relearning itself versus flashing at you. That means it's like there's a problem. That's why I don't know what I'm doing. Like stop. Figure something out. Type of instance. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it can take 2, 3, sometimes 4 miles for those type of things to reset. But on average, I would say 1.5 miles on average.
And it's always possible that you could have a bad sensor, or the battery goes bad at one of the tire sensors, because and that's the case where you check the tire pressure and it doesn't go away, and the tire pressure is fine, but it's still throwing an error. They also communicate via radio signal to the car, and if it loses that signal for whatever reason, there's a malfunction, it won't reset. So there are some instances where it doesn't work for you. But hey, if ever in question, open the manual or search Google. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there that show you exactly how to do it. It's easy for us to explain it, but sometimes watching somebody do it on a video and be able to watch it 3 or 4 times, it
makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it really does. So Google's your friend.
And I'll tell you, we've been seeing a lot more of what they call an RDC, which is the run flat tire monitor sensors. A lot more failures on the Gen 2 cars. Cars that not only are coming in with bad sensors, but bad antennas, bad modules, bad weird things, and like they just keep flashing it. We never really can fix them.
And I'm pretty sure there's two different sensors they used in the second generation. So the 2007 through 2013,
pre-11 and post-11.
Right. There's different sensors, and they're not compatible. So if you buy a set of wheels and tires from somebody, and they're like, "Oh, it's already got sensors in it," realize it may not work because of there's two different sensors there.
And there's no real easy way of looking at them going, okay, I wonder if this sensor works. I mean, other than somebody who knows, it's like, okay, like the pre ones are gray and square. The other ones are dark gray and round, and you know after you kind of look at them for a while. But if you buy a set of wheels and you have no idea, it's sensors. You're good to go, right?
And they're not cheap. A set of 4 sensors is going to run you, what, $150, $180?
Probably closer to $210.
Yeah,
so expensive.
So $200.
Because somebody made a lot of money here one of these days, because they used to be able to have all of the valve stems, because it's a special valve stem for your car, reusable. Well, they're like, we're not selling enough valve stem. Why are we? Let's make it so that you can only use this valve stem once. So if you have to actually take this valve stem off a wheel for whatever reason,
you need a new sensor.
Then the nut wastes itself on the end, and it basically screws up all of the threads on the actual valve stem.
There's $50
so
for a
it
sensor.
makes you buy a new valve stem every single time. And no, they're cheap. I mean, they're a couple bucks. They're $2, $3, $4. Right. They're not expensive. But you have to buy new ones. Yeah. So, it's a difference of selling $50,000 a year to, $150,000 a year in sensors. I mean, it's going to become big money for those guys.
But I guess in one, there's probably some statistics, some number cruncher somewhere who's talking about how much safer we are on the road, that people know that they've got a flat tire or whatever. Although I bet I would theorize that there's a ton of people driving around with flat tire warning lights who do nothing about it, and those people should be smacked in the back of the head.
Yep.
And repeatedly.
I've read a lot of articles because I subscribe to all of the magazine trends for the automotive world. I'm sure, Todd, you get Vinyl Weekly or whatever in at the shop, and we were reading some articles that's like, it's physically illegal for me to defeat a safety feature of your car. So if you want these particular tires and you want this and you want that, I legally have to make sure that you have sensors before, and that system works before you leave. Yeah. Now, you could do whatever you want, but I can't not offer you sensors because it's physically defeating a federally mandated
so the way around
function of the car.
The way around that is to bring the wheels and tires to Chad and say, I just need these tires mounted on wheels. And Chad doesn't know what car they're going on. He can legally get away with that and not put the sensors in it, and then you drive around with the light on all the time, it happens.
Or I can take my special fancy dealer tool and just turn the light off permanently because now it's an option on that tool.
Yeah, but we don't.
So is that against the law? Because now there's a dealer tech tool that says, "Hey, I can turn this light off."
Yeah, we don't recommend. Recommend that, but
But yes, there are some places that can actually turn those lights off.
Hey, I've had cars before, minis that I drove that didn't have sensors in the tires because I'm like, these are winter tires. I can live for 4 months. I don't care.
Right.
DB, you're like that. You're like, I got a set of aftermarket wheels and tires on this car that I didn't want to buy the sensors. I don't care.
I've got the sensors. I put them in because it's going to cost me just as much to take them from the old wheels to put them in this as it did. And never mind.
Because you're like, you're like $40 a tire to unmount and remount it with the sensors, right? And you're like, why would I do that until I need new tires?
Right.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's a little bit premature, but because some of these customers had some low treads on their tires, I've installed 2 sets of snow tires already this week.
Hey, it's getting that time of year, man. I'm shopping on Tire Rack right now. And can I tell you, Tire Rack does not.
I'm still watching for Mr. Peterson. He hasn't changed yet.
No, it's going to be Thanksgiving.
It's a little early. I mean, I'm still like thinking I'll run around in my car a little bit more, yet this year and figure all that stuff out. But another month.
See, Alex doesn't have to worry about that anymore. DB doesn't have to worry about that. I have to worry because they don't.
Oh man, he's in San Francisco. They got some snow, right?
No,
we don't get snow.
No,
we get something that is close to snow in color. It's very light. It's called sun.
Why'd you get snow this year?
Oh, jeez. But and here's my disappointment is that they do not make winter tires in the size, the 18-inch that fit my car.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't.
18's on
I used to have 18-inch on my BMW that fit
but not,
some winter tires, 18-inch.
Yeah, but not in the same size that fit the JCW.
Oh, maybe not. Yeah, okay.
Yep, they just Tire Rack doesn't offer it, and then I'm just like, forget it. I'm going to put 17s on this, and then you have to buy the right kind of 17s that fit over the brakes, and then it's that.
Yeah.
You do this, and then all of a sudden, $4,000 later, you're poor.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to really figure out, but you also have to remember that the money you're spending right now will last you 3 to 4 years.
Right.
In snow tires, so you have to take that cost, which is
and just divide it
be $1,500 ish,
right,
or so, and you have to divide that by X amount of days and stuff, and you're like, oh god, I'm only spending 80 cents a day to have snow tires. Perfect, done. So it really is a good investment to have the right tires for the right seasons when you need them. So
yeah,
especially if you're anywhere in that Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, DC area. I mean, it makes sense to have the snow tires for 2 seasons.
I use them about 3.5 to 4 months out of the year, and they're not just, by the way, we say snow tires. They're actually winter tires because it is when the temperature drops below 50 degrees. You need these. You need these tires. It's not a convenience. You need these tires because chances are you've got performance tires on your car and you have no idea what it's going to be like, and you complain that my car drives terrible in the snow. No, your tires drive terrible in the snow. Your Mini is a genius in the snow, but you have the wrong shoes. Go buy yourself some new shoes.
Remember, gang, that the Mini Cooper is really just a fancy, premium little snowplow properly equipped.
Absolutely.
Speaking of fancy tires, I actually have in my shop a set of very super low miles, those fancy sticky tires that came on the GP2.
Yeah.
I got a set of those in my showroom right now with super low miles, $300
for the set.
Wow.
For the set, just the tires.
Does it fit the Roadster because they're 17s?
I also have the wheels too. If somebody wanted those too.
Nah, I don't want
those. A little more expensive. They're off at GP2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right. Very cool.
That's it. Show. Wrap.
DetroitTune.com. Go check it out. Time to taco this show up, baby.
Yep.
On every street corner.
Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking with us through the changes that we've been making over here with basically me moving.
Yes.
I apologize for the delay in getting the shows made. We're trying to get back on schedule. But, keep following us on Facebook. Keep following us on Instagram, Twitter, all the things. We'll keep posting up over there. Don't forget, if you want your car featured in an episode of the podcast, just upload it to our Facebook page or do an reply to us at Twitter or Instagram, and we'll make that happen. Super awesome. Remember, to our friend, Mr. Miller, if you like the words he says here on the show, which, we do, I want you to go check out DetroitTune.com. If you're within a couple hours of his shop, he's your mechanic anyway, and not soon to be moving to a brand new fancy shop, giant fancy shop. So anyway, go over to DetroitTune.com, buy yourself something nice, like one of those Detroit Tuned ladies T-shirts. Those are super nice. They're like $20.
Or a rebuilt supercharger.
Ooh, the ever popular, world famous Detroit Tuned rebuilt supercharger.
You can either get it from me or Aaron over at Out Motoring.
There you go. Done and done. Or, if you're looking for one other thing for your lady friend, one of the Harvey seatbelt purses. Super nice. Yeah. Super awesome. All the ladies love that stuff. Anyway, go over to Detroit Tune. Check it out. Please. Thank you very much. But this is the part of the show where I like to make the funny clicking sound, and then I say... Questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead, click back over to whiteroofradio.com. There you can leave us in the show notes. You can also email us, feedback at whiteroofradio.com. But until next week, gang, this is DB. I'm done.
Cheers.
See ya.
À bientôt.